Hello everyone and welcome back to another scrap mechanic video. In this one we're going to be attempting to build the AT-AT Walker from the Star Wars movies. Now these are pretty iconic. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, give it a Google, you'll probably recognise what these are. These are the giant transport vehicles that walk across the snowy planet of Hoth, which is in the second movie, or the sixth depending on how you look at it, The Empire Strikes Back. Now AT-AT stands for All Terrain Armoured Transport, and this is the thing that we're going to try and rebuild. So obviously we've got to start off with a scale model, right? Don't want to do things crazy big and find out it doesn't work. So I built a small scale model where I've tried to get the walking mechanism working, and I tell you what, I have done just that. Check it out. This thing walks forward. May not be the smoothest of animations for walking, but you can see it definitely walks and it makes its way forward as well, which is seriously cool. And I like this a lot, and I thought, there we go, there's our prototype. Now we've got to scale this thing up and build a massive AT-AT Walker. And then I decided to go look up some pictures and some footage as well, and that's when I found out that they actually walk with 1 foot at a time, which I thought was a little bit unusual, but it really looks cool. So what they do is they'll put this one out, in front first of all, and then it will stay in that position, and the next one will come out, and one by one they'll slowly inch forward, which actually provides like a bit of a challenging way to do walking, especially in this game. So although we've built our first prototype right here, we're now going to build a second one that can try to recreate the animation that they have for walking. And when we do that, we're going to have to throw in a few extra bearings as well, because this design right here is extremely simple. If you wanted to recreate this, it's not too difficult at all. One of the things that I did is put in the 3 bearings, and then for the opposite legs on the opposite sides, I simply swapped their rotation around and then copied the controls from inside one of these boxes to the other. So you could like pause the video and effectively just copy what I'm doing here. So I'll look into each of them. For the ones that start off with the legs already in a position like this, what I basically did is I took the animation here and counted it up as if we were starting in the middle, and then looped it back round. So you'll see the next one's going to go 15, minus 30, minus 15, 30. There you go, everything I just said. Yeah, so there's each of the boxes. So if you want to recreate that for yourself, there you go. But what we've got to do is this again, but with more bearings, because the AT Walker itself actually has like the starting bearing joint up here, and it has one that moves out to the back and then joins onto the leg. So we're probably going to do something with a 4th bearing. So not to bore you, let's get to the next stage here. I'm going to build a second prototype, and if we can get it to walk like it does in the movies, then we can move on to building the the full size thing. So no prototype yet. It turns out that animating this thing was going to be really difficult. So then I had to think and try and come up with a way to make this a lot easier for myself, and eventually I was led to this right here, and now it seems so clear and obvious. So for any of you that want to make walking animations in this game, this is the way to do it right here. Get each step in front of you so you can look at it visually, and then you can make it look like what it is you're trying to recreate. So in this instance, I've been watching footage of it walking over and over again, and there's quite a lot of action when it goes from having its foot on the back leg and then going all the way over to the front of its leg like this, and then it's relatively quiet. And also these joints right here sort of go up to the middle and then they push back down again, and the only time that they really go up is when the leg lifts. So this is very, very similar to the AT Walker. Now what we can do with this is we can take all of these numbers that we have to edit each of the rotations by, and then we can, like, I'm going to take images of this, put them side by side, and then we can say, leg number 1 starts with this animation, leg number 2 starts here, and number 3 and number 4, and then you can go and program them and basically look at the numbers and say, okay, so for the next animation we need to increase it by this many bits, and you can do that in the one that controls all of the animations. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't feel like I did a very good job of explaining that, but that's what I'm going to do next, because we've got the animation here. So I've kind of labelled each of the legs as well, like this one is orange and that one is blue, so I could put down some markers over here to remind me as well which one is which. So anyway, I think I've made it easy for myself. We'll now find out, because I'm going to go and program this thing and see if we can get it to walk with this leg animation. So hours and hours of work has gone into this, and if you could see the smile on my face right now, I am so ecstatic with how this thing looks when it walks. It is seriously awesome. But boy oh boy, was it tough. And it was tough because the back legs are slightly different. You see, with the front ones, what we had to do was just mirror the bearings or the direction that they go in. But the back ones are a completely different thing because this little bit right here is facing in the other direction to how that one's done. So it meant I had to really like get into the maths of this. I say really, the maths is like pretty basic, you know, it's adding and subtracting, nothing crazy, but figuring it out was tough. And over here you can see I've made like a couple of legs that we've flipped this bit and they're sort of the same as the one that's behind it. Yeah, so what I had to do, and I can't remember, you know, if I get this wrong, don't worry about it. But what I had to do, I think, was flip the direction of this one. So 1 and 5 are opposite, and then you would take, I think, the one below it, and you would double it and subtract it from the next one down here, because it's, I don't want to get into it again, but it's not quite as straightforward as you might think it is, like hitting one of these bearings in the other direction or just swapping the numbers around. You had to do the right kind of math to manipulate the number to be in the correct position. Then these two right here, they could stay the same. And the result is this thing right here. Now I'm thinking we want to take this thing for a walk. And if we were to stop any of these legs, you have to sort of manually reset the entire thing, because when this thing is on looped mode, it generally just stops in the middle of a loop. So we're going to try and take this apart like one piece at a time and hope that it doesn't goof up too much on its way down to the ground. Which it, oh, it's going to jump out of the way quickly. Let's move that one. Whoa, 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 whoa. Easy, easy. No, it's going horribly wrong. Quick. There we go. Right, this thing can walk out of here now, right? As long as it doesn't fall over. This first walk was never going to be easy. Oh my god, and it's like actually walking as well. Like, it's really moving forward, isn't it? It's not the fastest thing ever, but I love that it's going along there. Oh wow, that looks great. Yes, I kind of designed it to do exactly this. It's so good. It's so good. So when it stretches its leg out forward, it takes a moment to plop it down on the ground, but when it does, it sort of pushes back a little bit. And to be fair, I think you could probably do a little bit of a better job than I have done, but I love it. And this thing sort of rocks side to side a little bit as well. Absolutely fantastic. Now, at the beginning of this video I said that I wanted to build like a big scale one of these, but considering the amount of time I put into this part of it alone, I kind of feel like maybe what I'll do is a smaller scale model, but now it will all be about just building, because we've figured out, you know, the mechanics of getting it to walk. That looks amazing! That looks amazing. I love it. So good! So this thing is going to be pretty epic, but right now we're going to do a very important test. I have decided to make this thing about 3 times as big as the one down there. You can see them side by side, however this thing will look bigger when it's finished because we're going to have the body of the walker up there. Now I'm excited to test this. I'm also a little bit nervous as well. You can see I built like a prototype of the leg over here. I decided trying to make it look exactly like what we have in the movies is going to be pretty tough, and so something that's relatively close is good enough for me. And I've started building the legs up the top here. We've got this nice ramp. In fact, if you want a way to get up, you know, to an area that's higher up, this is actually a pretty good block to use because you give yourself a ramp, something that you can walk up, and it's fairly big. So that's what I've done. Then we've got this sort of building area up the top here, and we're all good to go. So I can raise this up and down to work on the legs, which is awesome. And what I've just finished doing is programming all of the individual legs here. So what is done at the moment in terms of aesthetics is just the top bits right here, and I wanted to do a test because it kind of occurred to me that even though we've scaled up the size, maybe there's something I haven't thought about which would stop it from working. So we're going to take away that. Then it's putting itself into position. Aha. One of the things I need to check is that I've left enough room here for the beam here to go down, and it looks like there's actually plenty of room to where the other blocks are on the inside. So that's really good. What happens if we pick this up and try and put it down on the ground around here? I don't think it... Oh no, it will place it, but it will put it on the bottom foot. Okay, got ya. Then I need to get up there. And something about that doesn't look quite right, does it? But we'll soon find out. I need to now get up the top there and start the thing. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth. Got to press 1, 2, 3, and 4 all at the same time, which I did. And now hop down below. I gotta say, I think that something's wrong with the legs there. Or maybe the fact that it's supersized means it's not gonna work. Let's watch them for a moment here. This is a mammoth fail right here. It looks like something's wrong with this back one, which is maybe the one that flipped it over. And maybe we need some more weight on the top of this thing. It's very light as well. So judging on the behaviour of the back one, it's hard to tell. It looks like something is slightly off with it. But it keeps coming back to the same position. So if I've entered something incorrectly, we should see it gradually over time sort of move something further and further out because it's had the wrong value put into it. But that is, at the moment, kind of disappointing. Let's pick it back up. Let's try again, and we're going to put some weight on the top of it to sort of test that as well. There we go. We can jump onto that nice and easy. And it fails again. Now I'm very worried. I'm wondering if perhaps the legs are going to need to be built out of metal, so that's where the weight is. I also sort of added these paddles to try and give them a bit more support, and this is not what I expected. I guess you could say maybe there's just too much weight, so we added some weight to try and... Ooh, that could have been horrible if that had been the wrong block, but it wasn't. And down it goes again. Well, I'm not too sure what to make of that now. It looks like maybe if we're making it too big, it's not going to work. So it turns out that the bearings on this side over here were rotated the wrong way, or better yet, they were just in the default way. On these sides we needed to rotate all of them, which I did, and it still just falls over, which is a real shame. And so because of that, I've tried to make this thing look more like an 8080 Walker, and although it's got a little bit of the frame right there, it definitely needs to be bigger. However, I thought it would be funny to take this thing for a walk, and if it's actually going to do that or not, I'm not 100% sure. We're also sort of clipping the side there. Now the player is weightless, but this little chair at the front is going to add a little bit more weight, but it looks like it's walking just fine. And there you go, our Scrap Mechanic 8080 Walker right there. It looks great, I do like it, and the sides there probably could have been done a little bit better actually. There's a lot of room that's been left for the legs when they like clip upwards like that, but it seriously looks cool. I like it. Let's stop it from walking for a second because I do want to show you what happens to this thing. So we're going to remove the lift. We're going to hop onto it. Oh yeah, I tried putting some weight on the bottom of the legs as well. That didn't help either. Alright, here we go. It's going to start walking. We're going to jump off so you can see it fall over spectacularly, and it won't take it too long and you'll see it will start to go. So my theory is that when it gets bigger, that it's not as stable because the legs look like they're wobbling a lot, and I think when they wobble they send a lot of force back through the body, and so each step is like wildly manipulating the center of balance or gravity. I don't know the terminology, but you can see that it's really struggling. It's like a drunk 8080 Walker, isn't it? That's what we built, a drunk Walker. Oh, it's no good. Also, that leg looked like it kind of messed up a little bit there. I think sometimes they get caught on the ground, and I'm waiting for this one to fall over, and it is taking its sweet time. Come on, tip over already. Maybe give it a whack with the hammer, that might help it down. The last few times I've tried to do this, it just falls over instantly. And there it goes, wow. Spectacular. So if we watch it when it's on its side, pay attention to the animation of the leg when it like flicks out. So it'll be that one next. It kind of wobbles back and forth a little bit. And I think that shows you that it's, although it's got bearings and it's moving each of them, they're not happening with, you know, exact precision. There's a lot of momentum and force that's kind of happening through the length of it, and it causes it to wobble a little bit, and all of that just kind of adds up to it being too inconsistent to stably walk. So there we go, we did manage to make a cute and adorable little 8080 Walker over here. Maybe what I'll do is try and do it double the size instead of triple, and we might have a little bit more luck. But there you go, that's it from me this video. If you've enjoyed it, please do leave a like. I'm sorry we couldn't make the full size one, but gave it my best shot. And if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing for more Scrap Mechanic videos. And of course, check out the Scrap Mechanic playlist down there in the description box below if you want to see more Scrap Mechanic videos. Anyway, that is it from me, so thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.